So, hello everyone. Good day, Mr. Ibra. It's a big honor to have you on our channel. Again, you are one of the guests. As I always say, Balkans, there's so many amazing people coming from there, and you are one of them. So, would you mind introduce yourself a little bit?
Thank you for calling me. My name is Ibrahim Mesinovic. I am born in Sarajevo, Bosnia and Herzegovina. And on the background, I'm mechanical engineer, but all my life I'm working as an innovator. So I'm producing new stuff all the time, research and development. That's my specialty. So during that time, there was not so many West scientists who is engaged in that area. So I was turned to the East, especially to the Russian scientists. So that was USSR time, and we was in so-called Tito Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
So during my study in Belgrade, I used my free time to study water and get some research on it. So after when the war started unfortunate war started in my country, I left it and I resettled to Malaysia, where I spent 5 years also doing the research and working as an innovator. And already in 1997, I was resettled to Sweden, where I am now today. And now, when I resettled to Sweden, my so-called daily job continued as usual. I was inventing the stuff and machines, but my water job turned to be more serious. So my research started to move to this gray zone, so we call. It's not really pure scientific zone. It is metaphysic. And what can I say? Then maybe 8 to 10 years ago, I start to notice a lot of anomalies in the water. The West civilization call it anomalies, but actually this is not anomalies. This is one old program of the water. So I do study these anomalies, and I get them checked one by one. So the more I go into these anomalies, the more anomalies become obvious. So something was really wrong in that so-called Newton type universe, because Newton type universe is the universe which we today know, which is based on some kind of a billiard ball, which is bouncing on each other by random way, and everything is happened by random. So there I start to get some serious information, and I come out with the idea that I wanted to write down the theory of what I think is nature. So I was influenced by Tesla's work. I was influenced by Schauberger, Victor Russell, and it took me about 1 year, 2 years that I come out with finalize the details about the Theoria Naturalis. And then I was presenting my Theoria Naturalis to the public, but in few last season, I decided to change name on the primer source of the Theoria Naturalis. I changed name from ether to Tao. Tao in Chinese philosophy means spirit of nature. So that's why I changed name from ether, because when I was into the ether physics, there is such a problem because we have that unfortunate experiment which was done 1887 by those two guys which I call M and M, and they wanted to prove existence of ether, but unfortunately they disprove existence of ether. And then ether is totally pushed out from the physics.
Yeah.
During the late 19th and whole 20th century, we was more interested into theory of universe, which is based on Newton's laws. And even when Einstein come out with a theory of relativity, and so the situation is nothing changed. So we take some elements for granted, something like we take electron for granted. Even today, I think a lot of people have no clue that electron is absolutely not a particle. So that's what makes so big mess in today's science is that everybody is trying to push. They're trying to push their theory, and they wanted to prove, of course, their theory. So, and by influence of academia, and so now academia is the one who is in order, who is governed. The what is going to be released on the journal and what is not going to be released on the journal. If you are not released in the journal, that means you are not scientist. You are some kind of
Science, yeah.
some kind of quasi science, and nobody really takes you seriously. So that's how everything started. So how I based my theory on Naturalis is, as I told you, I pick out one word, ether, and I exchange the word ether with tau. And because I was, I wanted to join somehow philosophy and science of physics. I wanted to join it into one science, scientific theory, and my theory is based on two stage of tau. In one stage, tau is harmonic, singular. That means that first of all, we must understand that the singular doesn't mean that is one point. The singularity means that all quantity of that fluid or that matter, because we are now playing with metaphysics, so it's very difficult to say what is it. But okay, if just for the listener and your followers, just to be easily to understand, I will say of that fluid, because somebody say that ether is superfluid, and I base my tau on ether. So let's say that's fluid. Okay, just for the understanding, we borrow time and place and dimension, and just for the discussion. And in every point in that fluid, in every particular time, they are moving at the same speed and at the same direction, and they have a same vibration and frequency. So what it means? That means that this complete universe of the fluid acts as single element. Speed is the same, velocity is the same, time is the same. There is no time in that stage. That is very, very, very important. And in that stage, that is continuous now. That means there is no past, future. There is always now, because there is no time in that stage. So let's imagine that you have one lake, very, very quiet lake before night. And then imagine that you take one small stone and throw into that lake. So that lake will be disturbed in this particular place. So the water will rush to replace the quantity of the water which rock disturbed. And by doing that, they become duality, because now you have a singular piece on that area, on that fluid, which is not moving at the same speed as the rest of this fluid is moving. Now you become dual because you are now have two different potential.
Yeah.
Once you have two different potential, doesn't matter you have high or low, you become dual. Dual means that you are under one very strange law, and that law I call law of equilibrium. Law of equilibrium means, and I will, in this interview, I will use as simple language as possible
yes,
for everybody to understand.
Yeah, first me,
So,
I'm really not in, I don't understand physics at all. I was not good in physics at school. So I try to, yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So now imagine one thing, that one piece of that lake is acting strange.
Yes.
It is not acting like the rest of the lake.
Rest
Okay?
of it, yeah.
So the lake will rush in. That's normal
I got that, yeah.
for everything. Will rush in to keep it down. For example, if you have two music fork or music note, how you call it,
Yeah.
400 hertz, for example, you hit the one fork, another one will start to vibrate if they are tuned on the same frequency. So now, here is a question which push my theory naturalis. Why the second one is vibrating? The first possibilities is because of the force of the first one get into the second one, and the second one start to resonate.
Yeah.
And the second possibility is that the first one wanted to quiet down the second one wanted to quiet down the first one. So they take off the energy until they become equal. Once they become equal, they become one. So in dual universe, everything exists by two simple laws. First law of universe is equilibrium. Equilibrium means that everything on this world have two different potential. As long as you have two different potential in energy, frequency, resonance, wherever, you will wanted to get equal.
Okay.
You wanted to get equal. Once you are equal, you become one. Okay, that's important because the singular ether or Tao, singular Tao, he wants to come back. He wants to come back to his original stage.
Okay.
That's why we have equilibrium, because everything wants to come back to the harmonize. And the second law of universe is the law of inertia, but not that inertia which we know when we drive the car and press the brake. That's a different inertia. We are talking here of inertia of potential. So what is going on? If you look like now, like one beautiful lady, and as long as nobody come here and mess up with your hairstyle will be perfect. That is the inertia. Okay, so you want all the time to keep your hairstyle exactly how it is now. That is force of inertia. So that is two different laws which govern the universe. So we have constant fight in the universe between duality and singularity. Sometimes duality take over singularity, sometimes singularity take over duality. But for now, nobody wins. It's equal fighting. Because without singularity, there is no duality. And vice versa. Without duality, there is no singularity. That is the philosophical approach, very similar to the Vedas Indian approach. When they say everything in universe is play, drama. So we have one unit, and every single unit which is divided from that one unit play by its own. but everything is one unit. So with that in mind, you must understand that after I research and learn from Russell periodic table, so I do try to understand what exactly Russell wanted to tell us in his different approach. We have Mendeleev approach, which is based on energy. So we have a different, a little bit we have a confusion today in the world. We think that Mendeleev had based his, and that's quite important for us to know, that Mendeleev, a Russian scientist, that he based his Mendeleev periodic table based on weight of the atoms. But actually, we cannot measure the weight of the atom. We can measure the energy reflection of the atom. So the Mendeleev table was based on energy reflection from the atom, or should I call energy from the atom. So that's the difference between weight and energy reflection from the atom. And Russell get into the game something like 1920s, and he come out with a different approach. He come out that every now and on, like every now and on, he put elements into the music scale, music note, because they have different frequency.
Yeah.
So we go after frequency. He's not going after energy.
Yeah,
he's going after frequency.
I figured that one while you were talking. I'm proud of myself. I thought that frequency, it's not.
Yeah,
it's
and when he go after frequency, he discovered a couple of new elements. During that time, people don't know about this element, like uranium, element plutonium, and so on. So he gave the names of these elements. And then I start to think, okay, if Russell is right, if everything is frequency, where the frequency come from? Where this resonance of the elements come from? That means the elements, it's not statue. It's not that he put himself on one place and like shaking. No. And then about 6 years ago, 2019, so 5 years ago, I get in touch with one guy in USA, which I put some patent on their company name, and he has one theory of universe, and he called Seraph World. Like Seraph is some kind of angel, and he was driving to Los Angeles, 2008 or 2008, and he get the picture vision of the God, and the God talked to him, and the God asked him to build one machine, okay? And he explained to this guy, his name is David, and he's from Shackville, genius guy, pure natural genius, okay? And he get revolution, and the God talked to him to build up the machine. Yeah. So when I was there in 2019, because I was consulting them for one project, and I am the first man on the planet Earth that I put patent of inertia, okay? After that, nobody put patent on inertia. I put patent on inertia, okay? So I was there, and then they always talk on the background like, should we tell him? Should we tell him? I have no clue. Seriously, I have no clue. And then they say, we wanted to tell you something. We think that you are clever enough. Maybe you will understand. And then he get into the three-axial centrifuge. Three-axial centrifuge is when you are turning object in three axes, like this, and like this, at the same time, okay? So when you are turning object in the three axes, I will repeat one more time. If you have one ball, okay? So now first you rotate ball in this direction, from this axis, okay?
Yeah.
But after that, you start to rotate ball into this direction,
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
So you are still rotating like this, but you start to rotate like this.
Yeah.
After that, both of those rotation go one more time into the table rotation. So if you look, if you want, I can give you one GIF file so you can stick down on the YouTube so that people can see that.
Yes.
The computer simulation of this.
Yeah.
So what is happening when you have two axis rotation or three axis rotation at the same time? They can happen that this axis of rotation cross by this axis of rotation, and then you have stand in the moment. Doesn't matter how fast you're rotating. You're rotating 1000 RPM in both directions, and then in the one moment, you just stand still. You're not rotating at all. So we do experiment, and this is if your people want to do the more research, they can go on the YouTube and they, on the Google, and they can write down 3-axis rotation centrifuge.
Okay.
And then what is this moment on standby giving me something which is extremely, extremely important. So when you have rotation and you stand still, for this 1 second, for one blink of the eye, you are connected with your centrum directly to surrounding. Okay, nothing in between. Nothing stopping you. So your energy discharge into one point, somewhere here. Okay?
Okay.
So this is your ball, you discharge somewhere here. That discharge, by that phenomena of energy discharging into some point, we call electron. Okay? Because this is negative discharge. Your inside tau is discharging out. It's called inertia or contrast space or whatever you call it, discharge out. And we call it, in our world, we call it electron. My Theoria Naturalis is now complete. When I see this triaxial centrifuge, I get completed my Theoria Naturalis. So in his universal theory, everything grows from in out. That's exactly what is happening in universe. Our pictures of universe is from outside in, but it's actually everything is happening from inside out. I don't want to take so long time here because this theory needs at least 2-3 hours just to go through. But what is important? So I was still missing one piece, and I'm missing how everything started. How everything started. When I see this triaxial centrifuge, I get into the point where I understand the difference between hydrogen and the heaviest element, like say uranium. I don't know which is now heaviest because they always come and go. So what is the difference? In our normal science, we say differences is number of electron and neutron and proton. Okay, this is how science explains.
Yeah.
But what if that doesn't exist? What if proton, electron, and neutron doesn't exist as a separate particle from universe? Because if you are playing by Newton's theory of universe, you are playing by separate particles of universe. Okay, you can separate them. But what if this particle doesn't exist? What if everything is actually same in different stages, like water and ice? Like you have melted water and you call it liquid. You have frozen water and you call it ice. But base down, both are water.
Yeah.
Both are water.
Yes.
So you have steam water, you call it steam.
Yes.
But it's also water. Base down is water. So this is how Theoria Naturalis is actually talking about. There is no separate particles. Everything in the universe today existing is only by stage of potential. So let me come back to this first element. Okay. So I was missing the first element. And here I wanted to take off a religion part from theory. Okay. So when I say name God, it doesn't mean like one old man sitting in the cloud and looking what we are doing. No. I mean the Tao. If you understand the Tao by Chinese philosophy say, Tao is everywhere. It go left, it go right, it go up, it go down. It feed everything, but doesn't own anything. And he made, he doesn't govern. It's important here to know. The govern is the problem. Because we are under impression of monotheistic religion starting from Judaism.
Yeah.
A little bit before Judaism, there is one pharaoh also who is starting this monotheistic religion, but let's say Judaism as official start. And in Judaism, we have one philosophy that God made everything. And the God made people from the clay, and he blows in the life through the noses. Okay? So we have an architect. We have one guy who made everything. We have one guy who is in charge. So he knows everything in this particular philosophy. But in this particular philosophy, we as a human being, we get one special permit that we can do whatever we want because God specially made us. And all these books, holy books, Theoria, Bible, and Quran, is based on the human. They never calculate anything else but human, okay? The human behavior, the human doing this, the human doing that, the human praying, the human sacrifice, the human do this and that, okay? So we are isolated from the universe. There is where the starting problems. About 3,000 years ago, we get into the trouble. Not now, about 3,000 years ago. Of course, during the 19th century, we have another approach, even worse. That is, in that approach, it's called by random growing. That means the situation is like that two particular elements come to the random growing and they become new element by random, bouncing around, and so nobody have you. The universe is stupid like hell.
No plan.
Stupid like hell.
Yeah.
So the universe needs the man to bring intelligence into the universe. Okay? So that's totally pure isolating man out. We need to be in universe. We need to conquer the universe. We need to conquer everything that we push our intelligence into it because that's stupid. Stupid rocks, nothing more. Okay? That's totally wrong idea because we must. That's why I'm now starting to get on the tour, first in Balkan, and then I will see where I will be ending.
Maybe
I wanted to tell people, maybe, I wanted to tell people, okay, that we are part of universe. We are not separate. And even one more thing, that we need, okay, you wanted to go to church, it's absolutely your free will. But don't take it seriously. Don't take it seriously, please. Because you have to understand that whatever is outside of you is inside of you. That you and me once was my water and your water, once was same water. So what is going on? Whatever you have, I have, because we are the one. We are the one. We are not separate.
Yeah.
We have ego separation, but that is totally different story. But I'm talking about Tao, about spiritus inside, no ego spiritus, spiritus, natural spiritus.
Yeah.
Whatever you have, I have. 80% of your body is water, 80% of my body is water. Because we have planet which water never leave, that means even by random selection, once your molecule was inside my body, but not this body, my body. I'm talking about body as a body. Maybe this is my 100th body.
Yeah.
You get my point? Maybe. I don't know.
Good.
But somehow your elements, it was inside me and my elements was inside you. That's a pure mathematics.
Yeah.
So